Welcome to Activity 2.1. So again, you should be on page 16 of your book. And if this is the first video you're doing, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be explaining the phenomena. And you're doing corresponding rock sequences, which is towards the end, or towards the bottom of page 16. And your job is to explain the phenomena, to put notes in there. And these notes are essential for the test. They're going to be a key part of the test. So having really good notes is important. So the goal is not to get done as fast as you can. When I look this over, you should have good, solid notes. Don't try and shortchange it. It shouldn't just be a word or two. You should fill in and cram in as many notes as you can to help you on the test. And then you're going to explain how this helps you understand the Earth in a distance past. In other words, we're going to take a look at Pangea. How does this support the idea of Pangea and Wagner's idea of continental drift? So, corresponding rock sequences. Wagner noticed that South America and Africa fit together like a puzzle. That's another piece of evidence that we already looked at, or you will be looking at if you haven't looked at it yet. If the Atlantic Ocean were not in the middle, these continents seem to nestle together. But not only did the coastlines appear to fit together, there was another key piece of evidence. If we take a look at the different rock layers, the sequences of rocks. So if we look on, in South America, and we look at the different rock layers, the order, and then we look at Africa, they seem to match up. So for example, imagine that the layers of rocks on the South American continents were basalt, shale, limestone, coal, shale. Scientists were surprised to discover the exact same sequence along the African coastline. So think of it like this. If you had a cake, and that cake had multiple layers, if you cut that cake in half, and you separated the two halves, and you had a huge gap in between, and if you looked at one side and looked at the cake, and you looked at the other half of the cake, you could see that those layers seem to match up. This is what's happening with the rock layers. Scientists found that there was indeed a match. So when we look at the map here, you can see that these rock layers in this area matched up. Again, that's the phenomenon. So what is this, or how does this help you understand the Earth in a distance past? Again, it supports the idea of continental drift. It supports the idea that there was once a supercontinent called Pangea, and that this area here was nestled into this area. It explains why the rock layers seem to match up.